Is this thing on? Welcome, YouTube audience. And this Space Weather live stream is all about being excited about 2026. It's a beautiful day of shocking proportions here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. And it's a great day to talk about the closest star, like every other day. The most interesting star at which to gaze. So it's an absolutely incredible day. And if you're in Lehigh Valley, you should definitely get outside and enjoy some of it, because it's not normal for foliage to be this nice at this time of year, or for it to be this warm this time of year, or it to be this dry this time of year. And it's bonkers. So let's talk space weather very briefly, because I don't want to ruin my day by exerting myself early. So yeah, let's talk things like sunspot number, likelihood of large flares, the analysis of the new active sunspot group, and if there are any, solar storms headed in our direction. That's kind of important, right? People want to know if they'll see the aurora at mid-latitudes and if the power grid might take some damage or something like that. Well, I got good news and bad news. In Western nations, it's very unlikely that your, power will be affected by a solar storm, because your transformers have circuitry to detect the induction and then shut themselves off. So you might get a brownout or a blackout, but it's unlikely the transformer will explode because of the induced current from the incoming space weather. But look, we'll save that for another video, because it's probably not going to be a thing for any of our viewers. If you're in like a third or fourth world nation, it could really be an issue for you. So cool, we got a little prominence going on right now. Here's the last couple of hours of the closest stars activity. So there is a prominence there on that western limb, which would be your screen right. We'll shrink it down one more size so you can see the whole timestamp and so on. Sound good? Good. Now, we also regularly talk about things like, oh, amazing, a like just came in with zero viewers. That makes a lot of sense. But that's YouTube for you. Anyway, let's see. Treasury Secretary Besant says SNAP food benefits could restart by Wednesday. That might make it more fun to visit places like Portland and Memphis and any city in the country. I mean, have you already heard tales of things occurring because of I'm not going to get into it, because it starts to venture into the realm of politics. And I couldn't be more checked out on politics than I am. I'm maximum checked out of politics. I do not care. I do not want to hear about it. I don't care about what candidate you like. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what your local congressman is doing or claiming he's doing. I don't care about the lip service. I don't care about the elections. I don't care about any of it. I think it's all a pile of nonsense. And I think the people that run for public office are ones who are unable to control their own lives, and so they'd like to control your life. And, I've got a heaping helping to fuck off for people like that. A heaping helping. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. SNAP, people's food stamps, might function again by Wednesday. Thanks to the Treasury Secretary for this announcement or this claim. And you may want to take it with a grain of salt, because, Treasury Secretaries tend to be politicians or cronies of politicians. If I press the mute button, I apologize. All right, so Uber beats third quarter revenue expectations. That's exciting, right? Pfizer tops estimates. Leave us a comment if you love Pfizer. I know everybody out there is a huge fan of Pfizer, especially for the past couple of years. So definitely drop a comment if you're thinking about, capitalizing on some Pfizer stock options or something. Oh yeah, we really want to know. All right, anyway, Yum Brands to review strategic options for Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut may be for sale, folks. It may be for sale. You want to buy Pizza Hut? Well, consult Yum Brands about it. Yum Brands. And I think they literally own Bubble Yum. Don't they own Bubble Yum, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut? I forget who else. Let me see. I'll tell you. If you're thinking of buying Yum Brands, oh, they also own Taco Bell and KFC. I'll give them that. And okay, S&P futures slide 1% on Palantir decline, rising concerns about AI stock valuations. Wow, what a headline. Did you hear that? Rising concerns about AI stock valuations. Sounds like something I've been saying for months about the NASDAQ. Doesn't it sound like I know what I'm talking about? Isn't that amazing? Fun fact, folks. Some people on YouTube sound confidently because we know what we're talking about. Those are the channels you should watch. And the channels you shouldn't watch are the ones who sound confidently while telling you shit that's not true. Don't you think that'd be a good YouTube strategy? Yeah. Why don't you have yourself a nice unsubscribe fest today? If you don't like facts, unsubscribe from this channel. And if you do like nonsense, definitely get your space weather, especially your daily space weather content, get that elsewhere. Okay? If you don't know how weather and planes work, and hence you think there's a spraying program, definitely go view somebody else's channel and stay the hell out of our comments because you're annoying. If you think clouds are man-made, you don't know how weather works. You don't know how planes work. You don't know how the stratosphere works, etc. It pisses me off. So if you're a science illiterate and you'd like to share your brilliant knowledge with me, if you can't pass junior high physics, don't share your knowledge. If you can't pass high school physics, don't share your knowledge. If you can't pass college physics, don't share your knowledge. Get knowledge, share that. That's how it works. It's fun, right? Anyway, let's see if there's any space weather headed this way according to the Huxt forecast. Yeah, the Huxt forecast of University Reading. Come on, then. Never saw that before. You can load, I promise. Incidentally, our internet connection is super fast, so I tend to be a little critical. Keep in mind they also do show ambient CMEs and things like this. Please load. All right, let's call it a day. That's not going to load. Sunspot number still rising here, and we'll let you know if it's likely to rise more today. Once we look at that new sunspot, current sunspot number is 78. 78 sunspots. Radio flux is 133. 133 solar flux units. Next is NOAA's forecast. Is there any space weather on the way? Let me press refresh to find out. Isn't it refreshing to have sane space weather coverage? And it looks like there is a CME on the way. So we'll take a look at it by looking at things like the LASCO C3. Oh, nice. Doesn't look like it's fully Earth directed. expected to arrive late on November 6th. So late in the day universal time, November 6th into November 7th. So Thursday night into Friday. Thursday night into Friday. That might produce some mild geomagnetic storm conditions. Now, you can see very clearly from what NOAA's forecasting there that they are expecting a possibility of a G1 storm. So it's unlikely to see mid-latitude aurorae from a storm of that magnitude. That is a pretty weak storm, so don't expect it to yield much. I don't think it's like directly pointed at Earth. It's not. But we're going to look at the filament and see what has erupted here in a minute. Again, there is the CME. Headed Earth's way, expected to arrive late in the day on November 6th, early on November 7th. That's Thursday into Friday. So be prepared if you're going to be ready to go view the aurora. And we hope it's a more extreme storm than what is in the forecast. Anyway, moving along here to our Windows PC. Excuse me. The real-time solar wind currently very nominal here. About 1.5 protons per cubic centimeter is the density, solar wind velocity, just over 400 kilometers per second. So that is not anything that resembles a solar storm at the moment. Proton flux here is pretty much baseline levels. No solar energetic particle events. X-ray flux here has calmed down quite a bit. So we did see an M5 class flare yesterday. Today we saw an M3.5 class flare approximately. So it looks like, based on the X-ray flux, that new sunspot may be degrading. Although this difference could just simply be that it's not on the limb anymore. So it's either stable or degrading. It does not appear to be growing. And let's take a look at the LASCO C2 here for a minute, a little zoomed in. And we'll take a nice slow-mo look at that CME. So I suspect it's probably this one that was like early in the day. It looks like multiple events possibly happening there. It could be the Bob Lehman filament. I think that might be the Bob Lehman filament. Let's take a little closer look here. So first we'll look at stereo A. That'll help us to check the trajectory of that incoming solar storm. So let's go to the solar tab here at the Integrated Space Weather Analysis Center. Pull up the Stereo A Core 2 Space Weather Beacon. I'll resize this for your viewing pleasure. And let's take a look at the latest. All right, Stereo A's got it. Now, an earthly directed CME is going to be sort of coming out of the left from Stereo A's perspective. And just so you know, Stereo A is located right here. So it is ahead of Earth. It is ahead of Earth in terms of its orbit. Stereo A orbits a little faster than Earth does. Remember, folks, closer orbits are faster. Larger orbits are slower orbits. So here's Stereo B over here. That's not super useful for imaging because it got jacked up, I think, in September 2014, if memory serves. Anyway, there's Stereo A. That is where it is located. And so this is what we're looking at here, the view from Stereo A's coronagraph, one of the most important spacecraft ever made. Now, it looks to me like the Earth-directed one is going to be this filament right here, which is probably not going to even strike Earth. I think this is going to miss Earth because you can see the way it looks pretty concentrated here. So it looks like it's sort of maintaining its trajectory. Also, keep in mind that these things do diffuse as they come out. So yeah, I agree with Noah. It's not going to be a major impact. So anyway, here's what's going on with the heliosphere. We'll bring up the latest data here. Earth remains in a South Pole magnetic sector, I suspect. And indeed, that is where Earth lies. That's where Earth lies, and don't believe lies about space weather. South Pole magnetic sector in the heliosphere. Magnetometers are chill. Let's take a look at the latest magnetogram imagery. We'll also pull up the intensitygram here just to show you some great images of the new sunspot groups. Oh, there's more. All right, this is good. It looks like there's going to be a high likelihood of major solar flares here. So that's good. Let's take a look at Sterotololo's magnetogram. Since sunspots are magnetic features, magnetograms are the most important way to analyze them. So, all right, nice. Yeah, this is a very active sunspot here. So we still do have a significant possibility of X-class solar flares. This one can produce some flares, this one too, but this one up here, that is a beta gamma delta class sunspot. So that one right there will be the culprit if you see a large flare today. Almost 100% sure on that. Of course, the sun is full of surprises, so don't quote me on it. Take it with a grain of salt. But anyway, here's what those sunspots are looking like. I'll blow it up real big so we can do a little analysis of whether they're growing or shrinking. So there they are in intensitygram. And here they are in magnetogram. They're mostly stable here. Mostly stable. It looks like a little bit of growth on the leading southwestern edge, which would be right down in here, but it's very minor. But yeah, we could see X-class solar flare, so that's what we like. I'll take it. It's a beautiful day, and we hope you're having a lovely day as well. Next, solar filaments. Let's stick with Cerro Tololo. They've got some great clear imagery down there in Chile in the Atacama Desert. So a great place to put a space telescope there. Look at the filaments. Dag. All right, so let's see which one erupted here, if any. Sometime yesterday. All right, I'm not seeing it, so let's take a look at Lermonth. The data's a little older, but it may show something that we don't see from this side of the planet, right? Australia's on the other side of the planet from us. Shout out to Kimberly, who's ahead of me by 14 hours. It's almost tomorrow for Kimberly. All right, so do we see a filament erupting here? No, the Bob Lehman filament is still intact. So I hope this blasts off today, because if it does, it's almost guaranteed to produce a solar storm, maybe even a major one. Look at the size of this thing. It's like 1,000,000 kilometers in length. So that's legit. The Bob Lehman filament, named over on Twitter at x.com/smashomash. Just follow the hashtag name that filament if you want to name filaments after your friends, your foes, or even yourself. Are there any signs of intelligent life? Seriously, I want to know. Let us know in the comments. Are there signs of intelligent life on YouTube, on Earth, or anywhere? Because I don't know. I think there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. Moving right along. So yeah, that's the filament that erupted, that came right out of that active region. So I don't think that's even earthly directed, folks. That filament eruption definitely came from up here. So while it can have a minor earth directed component, that is going to be almost entirely non-earth directed. Moving right along to the electron flux, which remains high. So expect significant GPS errors today. If you're going to be relying on your GPS between, say, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., you might have problems. So, take some measures, have the route, like download the route or something, like look at actual landmarks, stuff like that. Your GPS, you can expect it to behave poorly, generally speaking. Next, we'll look at the ionosphere as we've been showing the South Atlantic anomaly now located in the Pacific Ocean. But I know how it is on YouTube because daily space weather, it's not covered. It's not covered. And like, how many channels cover daily space weather? Is there like one other channel? Seriously, let us know in the comments. Do they have any idea what they're talking about? Do they understand physics, cosmology, astrophysics, astronomy? Do they understand any of that stuff? I certainly hope they do, because the coverage on YouTube, based on the comments that we see, is severely lacking. So here's the anomalygram. Let's show the raw imagery. There's that's the raw vibrational frequency of the ionosphere. And we've actually got massive low frequency anomalies here. So quite a bit of turbulence there in the ionosphere. Satellites will be experiencing some drag and things like that because there's an electron storm happening. So yeah, big GPS errors, huge variations here over Africa and the Atlantic Ocean. So there'll be GPS errors of thousands of miles in this area. And there's the anomalygram. Like, look at how much red is on there. That's anomaly in megahertz from the 30-day median. Red being a low frequency anomaly, blue being a high frequency anomaly. So you see these wild variations. That's because the ionosphere is going to be very, very lumpy. It's not flat. That's my point. So that's about it, folks. I mean, this is designed to be a short stream because I am resting for a thing that I will not even comment on in YouTube. Because frankly, I don't want to talk to any of you YouTube types about it because it's kind of important. So in any case, we'll fill you all in on everything that's going on, why we're so excited for 2026. I mean, we've started a rock band, so that's a thing. I've relearned how to play guitar, and I'm now surpassing my previous skills. I'm also a frontman, the singer for the band, the guy that makes the songs, the guy that created the band and the concept for it, which is 80% original metal and 20% metal renditions of popular music. So that's it. That's where we need to close this thing out. We'll let the sun run here for like 5 minutes. And I will press mute, await your comments, which have been pathetic today. 0 comments on the whole stream and 1 like. Geez. Like, hey, YouTube, how about promote the content? It's the world's most comprehensive daily space weather content. Like, there's no comparison. There's no competition for this channel. No competition. All the other channels that cover space weather daily have been smoked for years. Smoked. So, anyway, that's it. Have fun. Don't have too much fun. People still go to mental institutions for that, believe it or not. We'll see you next time. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. And until tomorrow, may that solar wind be at your back.